Thank you and aloha. I'm going to try to do this without a mic. Okay, I got that teacher-coach voice, so I think it might work okay. I was born in Moline, Illinois. Moline is one of the 4 quad cities that border the Mississippi River between Iowa and Illinois. My dad, though, was born in the beautiful state of Hawaii, so that's where he grew up, went to high school and all that good stuff. So when I was in junior high school and college, for those years, he got offered a job to move back to Hawaii. He obviously did that in a heartbeat. So I kind of call home and where I grew up on the beautiful island of Oahu. So for 25 years of teaching, I wanted to still, even though for some reason I chose to go back to Illinois, the cold of Illinois, I wanted to make sure I kept some of the aloha spirit alive. So my students for 25 years don't leave when the bell rings. They leave when we give them an aloha. A little bit about my teaching and coaching background. I've been teaching for 25 years. For the past 15 years, I've been at Manuka Community High School. That's a really special group of seniors that I have up there that I'll be talking about a little bit. You can see the aloha shirts that me and I know I'm a little shorter than he is, but he is 6'6", offensive lineman going D1 next year. But I've been teaching at Manuka Community High School for the past 15 years, where I've been teaching math, primarily honors pre-calculus, AP calculus, AB, and BC. And that group this year with me are the first group that I've ever had calculus 3 at our school. I've been coaching basketball for 30 plus years. For 15 of those, I've been a head basketball coach. For 10 of those, I was at NSHSS. Manuka is about 60 miles southwest of the city of Chicago. For the past 5 years, I wanted to be a little bit closer to where I live so I could be closer to this cameraman right there. That's my son, Kalen. He's 13. He's joined me on the trip here. And I wanted to be a little bit closer to him. So I've actually been, I went from boys to girls, and I've been the head girls basketball coach at Hinsdale South High School for the past 5 years. Hinsdale South, Darien. It's in Darien, Illinois. And it's about 30 miles southwest of the city of Chicago, just to give you a little bit of bearings. I don't know about you guys, but this time right now is absolutely my most favorite time of the year. Not because I'm living in Illinois and I can finally get the golf clubs out, hit up those golf courses, but I've been with basketball my entire life. I've played it my entire lives. I've coached it for the past 30 years. So for me, and I got my son in it now, this is it. Why? Because of March Madness. You saw the Clemson Tigers here play unbelievably last night, and they're advancing. There'll be, only 32 teams left. And as a basketball player my entire life, as a basketball coach for the last 30, your dream is somehow, some way, make it to March Madness, somehow, some way, get to a Final Four. That is your absolute dream. And I am still, you might say this guy has way too much energy, but I am still on cloud 9. Because this year, our Hinsdale South girls, we made it to the Illinois State Basketball Championships, and we made it to the Final Four. I mean, that was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I'm still on that cloud 9. We reached the pinnacle. As a player and a coach, that's an absolute dream of yours. And when they asked me, would I be willing to talk here at this event, beautiful event for you guys, I said, sure. And then I needed something to talk about. And then even before we made it this far, I said, something that's important to me and my girls and any team that I've ever coached are what we call these I will sheets. And so for 15 years of coaching, varsity basketball head coaching, my players have always gotten a sheet like this. And the whole premise of this sheet and the title of kind of my talk with you guys today is it's I will. And for my players, the I will is, the hope is, they'll get this pregame. They'll get it when we're watching film. They'll get it when they're watching the JV team play before us, or they'll get it on the bus ride over there. And the whole premise of it is, as a coach, you're hoping they're going to look at defensive goals, offensive goals, special situations, and the hope is that they're going to look at it and they're going to say, I will do these things to help us be successful tonight. Right? And so they get this for every game that we had this year. On the bottom, there's one of my favorite ones, give all you got all the time. But I put 6 quotes on here. 6 quotes on here, 6 quotes that, we kind of have used throughout the 15 years that I've been a head basketball coach. And I would love to share them with you. And the whole goal of doing anything like this, when I coach 12 girls like this, you hope that you motivate and inspire all of them. With me, with you guys out here today, my hope is to inspire one of you. And if I do, then I'll feel like I did a really good job. Now, we started something organically with my basketball team this year. And my Cal 3 class, they wanted to be a part of this talk, right? And so I promised them. They made me wear an Aloha shirt today, which you're never supposed to do. You're only, if you go to Hawaii, supposed to wear an Aloha shirt on Fridays. We call it Aloha Friday. But I got them to be a part of this, and they're going to show you on the next screen here what I'm asking you guys to do, okay? Because I always like to feel connected, whether it's I'm talking to my students, whether it's talking to my players, or I'm talking to an audience like I am today. Like, I like to be connected. So I want you to really try to pay attention to this next screen here. Are you with me? All right, so this is something we started this year. Okay, now like I said, it happened organically. I'm at practice one day, and I like to know that my players are paying attention, that I'm getting through to them. And they're nodding their heads, they're, yes, coach. And I'm like, we need something a little bit more than this. So I'm like, what could we maybe do? And I think organically one time I said, hey, are you with me? And then I wanted a response. And I said, you know what? Let's maybe do this 2-clap thing. And they had to give me 2 really loud claps. And if they did it, oh my goodness, I could make them run. Okay, or even worse than that, I made them do push-ups. And oh my gosh, do these girls not like doing push-ups? All right, so I had something that I could hold them accountable for. Now, with you guys today, I can't make you run. Okay, I can't make you do push-ups, but I just want you to be connected with me, okay? It's going to help me kind of get through this talk. So I'm asking you, when I use those 4 magic words, what I want from you is 2 really loud claps, and I hope we can all do it. Are you with me? Woo! That was way better than I thought it was going to be. All right, I love it. Okay, so like I said, this year, in terms of basketball, boy, was it special. So I had girls help me out, okay? And so they're going to introduce the quotes that I'm going to share with you today, and then we'll talk about them a little bit. To start it out will be Bryn Dietrich. She's a freshman. This little thing. Fastest thing I've ever seen in my life. She played varsity for us as a freshman, and she ended up being a primarily ball handler for us, and she was just unbelievable. And she's matched up with her buddy, Maeve Savage. Maeve Savage is a sophomore. You'll see her on this next screen. 2-time all-conference. Arguably the best defensive player in the entire state of Illinois. But they're going to introduce us with our first quote.
Give all you got all the time.
They kind of get excited and goofy if you can't tell. Try dealing with them for 5 months, right? And then you got my old man right there. He kind of, when I started as a head coach, he inspired the first quote, which is give all you got all the time. And I know I have a lot of really very smart people in here. I know that is grammatically incorrect, but please remember, I am a math teacher. I am not an English teacher. I just always like the way that sounds. So that's been on the bottom of every practice plan that we have had. That's been on the bottom of every will sheet that I've ever given out. And he passed away 20 years ago from pancreatic cancer. If you're wondering why this crazy guy up here is wearing purple, that's why. Purple is the color for pancreatic cancer. And I know when he passed away, I always try to put a silver lining on anything. And the one silver lining that I was able to put on his passing was it made me look back, right? I do it with high school students on the daily, and I've been doing it for 30 years. And it made me look at when I was in high school. And it made me think. I was like, even though I was fast, and I was the fastest one, and I always wanted to win things, even though I was fast in high school, when I look back as an athlete, I don't think I gave all I got all the time. And I'll be completely honest. When he passed away, it bothered me. It bothered me. And then I looked at my academics, and even though I made honor roll in high school all the time, I got a little B here and there, and it made me think. I didn't give all I got all the time, and now I'm raising a son, and I'm teaching high school students, and I'm coaching high school athletes, and I'm expecting them to give all they got all the time. So guess what? I started running like crazy, and then I did like 20 marathons. I wanted to make up. I wanted to make up for that regret that I had then when I was in your shoes and I was in high school. And I wanted to make up for that, so I started running, like I said, at least 20 marathons. And then I said, I can give a little more. So then I did a half Ironman. And then I'm like, well, I think I could do a little more than that. So then I did 2 Ironmans after that. And then I was like, whoa, could I do more than that? Maybe. I think I was feeling guilty from those high school days. So then I did a 50 50-mile ultra marathon. And then still on the bucket list is the 100-mile run. But having a 13-year-old and having to raise them has kind of hurt that training program a little bit. But I will get there. I will get there. And because of that quote, I will get there. And when you look at those two girls right there, okay, I am so proud of them. Because as a coach, right, this is our #1 quote. It's our #1 quote. And if you ever watched these two girls, you would be absolutely floored. And it wouldn't matter if it was in practice. It wouldn't matter if it was in a game. Sometimes I have to call timeouts because they're working too hard. I honestly think they're going to stop breathing. They're working that hard. And I love it that they have bought into it. And it's a huge reason why we were able to go as far as we did. And the one thing that I would hope, if I can just get one of you, and whatever you do for the remaining of the year, the summer, what you do in college, give all you got all the time, because I don't want you to have any regrets looking back like I did. Are you with me? Woo! That's what I'm talking about. All right, the girls are going to be proud. All right, next we have Anna Wilcox. She's a sophomore. She's played varsity for 2 years. Now, Anna Wilcox, you'll see her in a moment. As a freshman on varsity, she got our most prestigious award. It's a Miss Hornet Award. And it's voted on by the players. And it goes out to the player that does the best job of buying into everything that we preach as a coaching staff and as a program. And to get that as a freshman, absolutely amazing. She's going to introduce our next quote. Yeah, she's a little quiet. But little things make big things happen. You know what's crazy about Anna Wilcox? It's 2 days before the season. Do you know what she tells me? She tells me, Coach Tanaka, I'm not playing this year. And I was like, oh. I said, Anna Wilcox, yes, you are playing this year. I said, you're a Miss Hornet Award winner, right? You're so important to what we are doing. And we have Bryn Dietrich, if you remember from the previous slide. She's a freshman. Okay, and Anna Wilcox, she's a really good cross-country runner. Said she wanted to focus on that. I think she thought maybe she wouldn't play maybe as much this year because we were getting everybody back and then this really fast freshman. And I said, Anna Wilcox, you got to play. Okay, okay, you're going to give me 1 or 2 weeks, and if you still feel the same way, I'll be okay with it. So Anna, what did she do? She was willing to do a little thing for me and come for 2 weeks. And guess what? It worked out for her. She started out as like a 6th person off the bench, but Anna Wilcox does all the little things, you guys. She'll box out, she'll dive after a loose ball, she'll take a charge. In the classroom, she's an honors level, straight A student, right? And she does every little thing that you could ask for. And do you know what I love the most? Is when I'm downstate going crazy. Going crazy because try being in charge of 12 girls for an entire weekend in some hotel rooms. I mean, that's going to make you crazy. But Anna Wilcox comes up to me during the weekend while we're down there, and she goes, Coach Tanaka, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am so glad I played this year. And you guys, coaching for 30 years, I've come across player after player that when things get really tough, and if they've got to be like, well, I don't know if I want to do that much work, should I really do it? And I feel nowadays, sometimes when we're young, the easy route is to say, no, let's not do that thing. It'd be too much work. And what I would love for all of you guys to do moving forward is just do a little thing. You know, you just got to do that little thing, and then you'll see that it is important to you. And when your parents are out there telling you you should do it, or your coaches are out there telling you maybe you should do it, you should do it. Because then you find out that amazing things happen. And maybe they don't happen. But then you don't leave anything left there on the table. You don't regret anything later in life. And that's what I want from all of you out there moving forward. Are you with me? Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, next up we have Sloanie Sloan. Okay, sophomore 2, played 2 years varsity with us. Character is what you do when no one is looking. Now I teach at Minooka, but I coach at Hinsdale South. That's a 30-mile gap. It's a 30-mile gap. And so what happens sometimes is if there's a little traffic or there could be an accident, I could be a little late to practice. And if I'm a little late to practice, you know what I love to do? I love to look through that little window and see what my girls are up to. I like to see how their character and their integrity is when no one's looking. You know what's awesome about Sloanie Sloan? Sloanie Sloan, she's only a sophomore on varsity. She could easily get distracted like some of these girls, but you can always tell she's focused and she is on task. What makes this quote really hit home even more with me, being an honors level math teacher, and it pains me at the core, it honestly breaks my heart when I see this happen in high school classrooms, But in 25 years of education, I find out that the most academic dishonesty happens in those honors classes. You know, and I'll challenge every single one of my students from day one. I will challenge them. You know, I'll teach a class period 1 and then a class period 8. And I say, you can communicate anything to your friends, to your best friend, to your boyfriend, to your girlfriend. That's academic dishonesty. Don't do it. And my heart feels for high school kids. Absolutely does. Because I'll have high school kids, Mr. Tanaka, I've got to get that A. Mr. Tanaka, I've got to get into that quote-unquote dream college. And it pains me. It pains me to see the pressure that they put on themselves. And you know what pains me more is they're willing sometimes to jeopardize their character and their integrity to feel like they've got to get that A or they've got to get into that dream college. And what I would love to share with you guys is don't jeopardize that character. Don't jeopardize that integrity. Because the one thing I found about every single high school student that I have ever taught, you guys all have a beautiful core. You guys all have a beautiful heart. And unfortunately, sometimes things become in the way of it, but don't let it. Don't let it. You'll go where you're supposed to go. You'll get the grade you're supposed to get, and everything will take care of each other. And that's a very important message that I hope when you walk out, you keep with you. Are you with me? Oh my gosh, this gets better. And people are walking in that weren't here with the directions, and they're falling right in line. All right, here we go. Next we have Haley Goins. If you haven't noticed, I can sometimes be a very tough coach to play with. Okay? Haley's going to talk. Okay, this is a big one, right? Especially if you're a high school student. Shoot, it's a big one if you're me. I'm really uncomfortable today. And I said, oh no, I'm going to step outside of that comfort zone and give this talk today. Okay, but I can be, and if you've noticed, I've had a lot of young girls here playing varsity. I can be very difficult at first. It can be very uncomfortable for players. Shoot, it could be really uncomfortable when a student walks in my classroom. And the one thing I will always challenge everybody is communication, one, and step outside of your comfort zone. I see it way too much, especially nowadays, social media and our phones, is students get lost. They get lost, players get lost. And we're not brave enough anymore to just step outside of whenever we are uncomfortable. I see it happen all the time. I could see it with kids walking in the hallway. And the beautiful thing about Haley Goins is I told her, you know what, Haley, communicate with me. And she's always done a beautiful job of communicating with me. And when we were at the most difficult time this year down there at the state basketball championships, that girl flourished. Why? Because she always communicated, and I told her, you know, she was not playing as well maybe earlier in the year, and I told her, your time's coming. And it came at the most uncomfortable time. And it's because she was willing to step outside. And I couldn't be more proud of that young lady, and she has a brilliant future in the game of basketball. Now, probably this may be one of my all-time favorite stories in education, and it is this group of 16 individuals right here, my Calc 3 students. Okay, I've been teaching at Manuka for a while now, and for the longest time, we would maybe get 1 or 2 really brave students to take Calc BC. Calc BC is the toughest student we have at our school. Okay, it's Calc 1 and Calc 2 in 1 year. In 1 year, they've got to get that done. And then for those 1 or 2 juniors that would always do it, we would have nothing for them as seniors. We would have AP stats. Of course they're going to take that. But if you're taking BC as a junior, that means mathematically you're brilliant. And we want to have Calc 3 for you. And we never had enough kids to do it. Right? They said, Scott, the department chair told me, you've got to have 10 to 15. Well, I'm like, how can we make that happen? And at NSHSS, we have 2 campuses, okay? We have a freshman, sophomore campus, and we have a junior, senior campus. Being that I'm a higher level math teacher, I'm at the junior, senior. And I said, well, department chair, could I maybe 1 year go down there and teach these sophomores honors pre-calc? She finally said yes. So 3 years ago, I went down and I met 21 of these students. Okay, and I had to convince and find at least 10 of them that would be brave enough to take BC as juniors. And you know what's crazy about this group? They were beyond uncomfortable because if you're a senior out there, you understand what I am talking about. Your freshman year was very difficult. That was coming right off of the pandemic. And so not only did I have to teach this group right here, honors pre-calc, I had to get all of those holes. And boy, were they uncomfortable. But I told them, you know what, just step outside. Let's make great things happen here. Guess what? I got 16 of them to take BC. 16 of them. And I don't know if you know AP classes, I'm sure you do. The highest score you can get is a 5. That group right there averaged a 4.5 on the BC exam. That's crazy. And now they're taking Calc 3 with me. It's been the death of me this year trying to teach that thing since I haven't taken it in 30 years. But they're going to graduate this year with not Calc 1, not Calc 2, but Calc 3 credit through Loyola University. Couldn't be more proud of that group of individuals right there. And that's one thing that I would love to share with all of you guys. The next time, you could be uncomfortable at some point in time today. Step outside of it, because when you step outside of it, that's when beautiful things happen. And I want beautiful things happen for everybody out there today. Are you with me? Woo! Better and better. Have we not had a ridiculously young team? Heck yeah, but if it wasn't for my next 2 girls, oh my goodness, none of this would have happened. My 2 senior captains, Mimi Flowers, 6-foot monster. Arguably the best post player in the entire state. And then Mia Laborado. They're going to help us out with my last 2 quotes. I know I kind of have to be quick here, and it does these girls a little bit of a disservice, but here we go. When these 2 girls, I had them as freshmen, they played varsity 2. Guess how many games they won? 2! They won 2. In today's day and age, oh my goodness, they could have just left and they could have went to the neighboring private school and won so much more, but guess what? They did not give up. So as sophomores, they came back and they just wanted to get good, and boy did they get good. Mia Laborado on the right there, she made all conference as a sophomore. Okay, and we won more games, not that much more, but we won more. They still could have left, but they came back, they said, you know what, Coach Shinaka, let's get better. And in their junior year, they both made all conference. Both of them did. And we got 2nd place in our conference that year, mainly because of those 2 girls. And they were great leaders for our younger girls. But guess what? They didn't stop. They didn't want to be better. They wanted to be the best. So they came back this year, and oh my gosh, we won 26 games, most ever in school history. Oh my gosh, we won a conference championship, first time in 12 years. And then they said, we're still not done. So guess what they did? They led us to the first regional championship in 40 years, the first sectional championship in 40 years. And this picture right here, oh my goodness, that's memories for a lifetime. That's the first ever super sectional championship in school history. That got us downstate. First Final 4 boys or girls in our school history. And I couldn't be more proud of those girls right there. And you guys all deal with situations right now where maybe you're not good at something. And sometimes nowadays I see it happen way too much in high school. When we aren't good at something, we just do something else. Look at these 2 girls right there. They weren't good, and then they got good, and then they didn't stop. They got better, and then they ended up being the best, and that's a huge challenge for all of you with whatever you do moving forward. Are you with me? I got the 5 minutes left, so here's a really silly movement I try to get going. Okay, really not silly, but it's not a quote, but I'm going to end with this today because probably maybe it's something I've always wanted to share with people. My son right here, right, unfortunately he's my son, so he's going to grow up way too competitive. All right, so if you look at September 28, 2019, must have been raining that day because we went bowling. Right now our sport is pickleball. Okay, and whatever we do, we're competitive. So there's a high school girl next to us. She's bowling, and she's bowling like 200s. I'm like, Kaylin, I'm going to beat her. And then Kaylin to me is like, well, you know what? I'm going to bowl my first 100. If you look at that note, it didn't go well for him. Okay, because when she left us a note. It says, lane 20, keep doing what you do. Bud, you're going to do great. Every bit of practice will help you in the future. Just be patient, bud. Don't worry about other people's progress. You will get there, lane 22. P.S. Most importantly, don't give up. You can do it. I believe in you. Oh my gosh. That note still hits my soul to this day. It hits my soul. And do you know what? It not only hits my heart and my soul, I'll guarantee you it made her feel good. And it reminded me how much every day I need to make sure I live with a huge heart because she did. That was the movement we tried to get started, LWAH squared. Didn't go very far. But you know what? It helped me live every day with a huge heart. I try to teach Kaylin, if we go into a grocery store or we go into church, we open the door for people. If we see some elderly person at Costco struggling to get that dog food in their bin, we'll help them out. Or if I'm running in the summertime and I find an elderly lady out there or a gentleman trying to mow their lawn, we'll stop and mow the lawn for them. And this is the message I would love the most, especially today's day and age when we have social media and people try to bring people down. Let's all live with a huge heart. And the most beautiful thing about that is when you do good for somebody, you make them feel good, And even more importantly than that, you make you feel good. And it can do wonders. Are you with me? All right, I think I almost got this in time. All right, I'm going to need a break though. All right, I'm an AP Cal teacher, and I love helping students. So I have my email up there. I have a QR code up there. If you're in AP Cal, or maybe you're going to end up taking it, take that, because it takes you to my website. It's got my email there. Like I said earlier, my main prerogative today is let me influence or motivate or inspire one person with one of these quotes that I shared with you. And if I've motivated or inspired just one person, I want to hear about it. I do. Or maybe you need some AP Calc help. I'm willing to help, or I'll make my Calc 3 students help you with it. Okay, we will find a way. I would like to thank NSHSS. They all say it way faster than I do for giving us this opportunity. I love it that they give you guys such a great opportunity. Aloha. Thank you.